Guys, do you want top quality media? Do you want professional looking graphics? Do you want to make your business look like something that is new, marvel, exciting, and most importantly has ingenuity? They have everything you can ask for, including professional equipment and a stellar end product from top to bottom. Head over to www.guerrillagrfx.com for all of your design needs today. That's guerrillagrfx.com. Stutterbox Productions is a backbone for many of the events that you see in the Midwest, from EDM festivals to late night hip hop shows. This company has been working closely with this podcast since the beginning, and we always have plenty of things planned for the future. So if you're looking to plan your next gig or event, or if you just want to see what's going on in the area, head over to their Facebook page to learn more at Stutterbox Productions. What's up, everybody? This is McAllister's podcast. As always, I'm your host, Coleman McAllister. Today, we're joined by returning guest, Michael M Jeni. I, as the host, am struggling already through this speaking. God damn it, dude. Too many podcasts. But we're here. We're loving it. I love when you come by, man. It's always a good time. Always good to see an old friend. And, you know, how you doing today, man? How was your drive?
Man, it's a pleasure to be here. This is like round 3, I believe. So
round 3, Trace.
Man, it's always a pleasure to come out here. The drive wasn't bad. It was real smooth. Cedar Falls to Des Moines. No cop activity, which I like. So it was a straight shot.
Yeah, well, I did that yesterday, as I told you. I'm going on the GXP podcast.
Oh yeah, shout out to him. I see what he's doing. Making waves.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I was telling him this, and I say this to all you Cedar Rapids, right? Cedar Rapids guys.
Yeah.
I always get Cedar Rapids and Falls confused.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's actually like 35 minutes away.
Oh, really? They're really right next to each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you're speeding or whatever.
But like y'all just need to move to Des Moines. Like, get out of there, man.
I feel it at times because Des Moines is like the hub where everything happens. It's a lot of opportunities, and Cedar Rapids too. There are opportunities. I feel like when you travel outside of your city, you go to another, city in the state. There's more reception, a better crowd, and overall more opportunities. Like when I look up Des Moines stuff, Des Moines things to do, artist wise, even like just to go and have fun. It's a bunch of opportunities in Des Moines.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the talented in this, entire state is so underrated.
Oh, facts.
So overlooked.
Facts.
Like there's so many different types of expression and things going on, like in this state that I feel like are kind of just under this like shroud of like almost like Iowa. Like there's a stigma of like, we're still fighting off Indians and stuff. You know what I mean? Like people legit, like when I was a kid, people legitimately thought like they would travel and they'd be like, do you still like fight off Indians? Like, oh, bro.
It's a misconception with Iowa. It's a lot of preconceived notions, and also like at the same time, it's a lot of saturation. Like, I feel like there's like a vast majority of like talented people, here who are excelling in their field of music or whatever the case is, and then also another group that is also maybe doing the same thing, but not taking it as serious, because there's 1,000 rappers and 1,000 singers in every state or more. But in Iowa, all we're known for is just the corn, football, industrial shit. Nothing like entertainment wise. That's why we're always overlooked. When you go to Minnesota, you hear music. They're mainly known for music. But right in the middle, it's like scam calls. My phone's been scamming all week. I don't know who submitted my number, but
dude, one time I had a scammer. He was like this. He was like 11 different people, but he was the same guy. He was like super Asian, so he had like a really thick accent, and he was like, "I am from the IRS," or like, "I am from blah blah blah." I'm like, "You're the like." One day I got really pissed. I was like, "You're the same motherfucker. Stop calling me."
And eventually they hang up.
Yeah, right.
When you catch up to their bullshit, they're just like, "What?" I had one scammer, and I was like, "Let me guess. Are you trying to scam me?" And they go, Yes, I am. Click. And I'm like, then what's the point of that? Dude. Then you call the number again and it's disconnected. Like, it's just...
What's the day of a scammer? I want to know that. Like, is it... I think it's, like, probably 10 hours of just laying in their bed, just like, oh, I'm going to try this. Like, they, like, think of numbers. They, like, have, like, a little notebook, and they're like... They probably don't even do that. They probably just type in numbers.
I think it's that. I think it's that they do. And maybe these companies like selling your phone numbers, like, you know how like I feel
true.
like when I went on Google and I submitted my information for something I filled out, directly the next day I had a whole bunch of 319 numbers calling me from. It'd be like a 319 number, which is like Cedar Falls, Waterloo area code, right? But it would say, oh, 319 Des Moines. I'm like, yo, this is Des Moines 515. You're trying to scam my phone, and you answer and it goes bloop bloop. This is this and that. I'm like, click. Like, get off my phone.
Dude, I had a guy. I got an email saying like that this thing charged like $200 to my account. Mm-hmm. And I was just like in this, you know, I was busy at work and shit.
Right.
I'm like, oh my, I just like instinctually like called this number, and he's like, oh, like, what, can I call you back at like 3:30? I'm like, this is weird. And I like said it to Molly. She's like, yeah, this is a scam, man. I'm like, fuck.
Why would you need to call back at 3:30? Makes no sense.
Geek Squad isn't like they don't take 3-hour breaks, man.
They do not.
They're not just like one guy in like a booth, like, oh, I have so many calls. Like,
right. I need a break. I'll get you when I can. I don't think it works like that.
He thinks he's Geek Squad. He wants to be Geek Squad.
There's other employment opportunities, buddy.
Fuck, dude. So, what you got coming down the pipeline? What you been working on since you've last been?
I believe. Let me see what happened last time. I don't think I dropped anything. Yeah. So between now and last time, I know I was working on new music, and that music did drop. The lead single for my EP King dropped. It's C'est Moi, and it was 3 months ago. And that means it's me. It's a song about in individuals, two individuals. Well, I want to say it's in a sense about myself, how I feel. You know, how I've been feeling like a long time, like I said. And that now it's starting to do its thing. For after 3 months, it's now starting to pick up, through TikTok and Instagram and things like that. And given the timeline at that time, I thought, hey, I'm going to put out a single in September. And I have to keep reminding myself, like, hey, my music is always still new to the audience. I can't go through singles like that. I have to figure out ways to market it. So I told myself I'm going to wait till at least November to drop new music. And then along with the single, I dropped the Tokos 2 video. We shot that in Texas, and that was an experience I'll never forget because, again, yeah, it all came together. We did it in a day. Mm-hmm. And the time that we made the best of it, and it was one of those visuals like I feel it's one of my best music videos. Production, the team of people I had around me, the girl that was in the video, she did an amazing job. And now it's starting to translate. Now it's starting to pick up again. And even now when I watch it, I'm still speechless, but it's one of those things like I can't get caught up, watching. I just had to be like, all right, that's cool what I did. Let me go focus on something else.
Yeah, right.
And then besides that, I finally had a show in Cedar Rapids.
There you go.
I think you might have heard of Robert Miley.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had him on. Yeah, Young Creatives.
Man, Young Creatives, dude's energy is through the roof. A good gentleman, dude. Shout out to him.
I gotta have him back on again soon. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Oh, man, it was one of those opportunities.
Him and Juan. Juan's a great guy too.
I need to meet him.
You haven't met Juan?
No, I have not.
He's cool.
I've heard nothing but good things from Robert about him. They're a good collective group, and he hosted a show the 28th of no, it was the 8th of this month. My bad.
Oh, that I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I saw stuff on that.
And it was I feel it was one of my best performances. I walked in there, and I'm like, holy shit, this is like, it was at least 100 plus people in there, plus the other artists that were there too, which they did an amazing job as well. And when it got to my set, it was one of those moments where, like, you do the thing, and when you look up, your time is done. but you don't know how you did it, but you just know it got done, and you just look at the footage, just like, damn, I looked like I was having the best time of my life, and it was an experience I'll never forget. So shout out to him and the young creatives, and now we're just, I think now we're gearing towards next year of dropping the EP, because I thought I was going to drop it this year, but giving planning and trying to market and execute, it's best to just, hey, wait till next year, because I'm trying to tie it all in with high school reunion and everything else. So I'm like, I need to wait this one out.
Yeah. Well, hey, that makes sense, man. I mean, I think that, so many projects, musical projects, I mean, it's common for them to, go through a phase where like, hey, we're not releasing it right now,
Right.
Going back to your video shoot, the fact that you guys like did it like, just in a day like that, like I'm really like, that must have been like a really, pleasant experience, because I'm in video production, like I feel like you have the times where it's hard to get people raggled in and like be able to actually do it quickly, like like in my classes, like there are times where like I've been the director and I've been trying to get everybody going, and like they just are going off on these like tangents where I'm more of like a focus, like we need to get this shit done, like let's have a plan in place so we can just like knock it out, so we can get it done.
It really was a pleasant experience, and it was one of those things like I have a group of people that I bring with me, and we know what we're doing. There's time to play, and there's time where we need to work. And my video director, Junior Makolo, like we've done, I think 4 or 5 videos together, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. It might be a little bit less, but he has a great work ethic. It's like when we get there, it's time to shoot. And sometimes, like even myself, I get annoyed because he's like take after take after take after take.
Oh, that's me too. That's how I am.
And it's just like, okay, he understands, because he looks in the camera and he's like, if the energy is not matching the song, it's not going to look right on camera. Like I'm not going to, take the time to edit it if it's not what it is.
Yeah.
And this is not disrespect to anybody else I've worked with, but he's been the best, one of the best that I've worked with. Others, it was I want to say it was more of like they were just worried about the money. They just wanted to get it done. And anytime my own, visions were, expressed, it was more like, oh,
waters, man.
I'm gonna blame it on that. I'm gonna blame it on that and the energy explaining it, because it feels like I'm passionate about it, but but it was one of those things like they just cared about the money, and this is like after routinely working with them, and I won't mention their names, but it's just like one of those things like, hey, you maybe thought you saw my vision, but
yeah. Well, that's a hard thing to translate too sometimes, like with the client, like, and we were just talking about this a couple episodes ago, like your vision dies so many times when you're going through the process, so it's hard to match everything up. Sometimes you gotta like settle and compromise a little bit,
Yeah, and that's what I've had to learn. Like I might have a vision in my head, but the videographer might have a better idea that when you see it full spectrum, it's just like, oh, this works out better. And I think what we're trying to transition to is, like, I personally can't tell that we did this in a day, but I know within my head I did it in a day. But he's always emphasized, what if we added another day? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. What if we did a whole nother day of shooting versus just one day? And the Tokos 2 video, I kid you not, that was at least a 3-hour shoot. We did it in 3 hours. A big room with multiple scenes, and then an outside scene, and we've done it enough in a routine that, okay, we know what we need to do to get it done, but it's one of those things always like, what if we tried, something else, something more, which, gets my mind going at times.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and it's important to have people that are, going back to like the multiple takes, like, there's a reason like Kubrick did like 50 to 100 takes of a scene. Like, when your actors and the people that are in the video, like they emulate a certain expression, like a certain, like if you want to get them like, you know, in the film, like looking really pissed, or like, you know, like when he's doing The Shining, like the reason Jack Nicholson looks fucking pissed is because he did 100 takes of that.
Right.
Scene.
Oh yeah.
He chopped that door down so many fucking times. He's like over it. He's
it's probably real anger too. You know, it's not even just acting. It's just like after a certain while, just like, yo, I'm fed up with this. And some of that real aggression transpires into, you know, into the camera, and then, you know, you get those good movies and good scenes and stuff.
Yeah. No, so like anyway, like when I direct, like I know people get pissed because like I'm just doing so many takes. Like I'm like, this is the last take, and then we do the last take. I'm like, I didn't like that, so we're gonna do another last take.
And they're looking at you like, are you serious,
motherfucker? Like,
and you just got to put up with it because like you got to go through those, you know, those situations to achieve greatness. You might be like, damn, it's hot on set. Another take.
Well, you know, that is the beauty of capitalism, my friend.
Yeah.
You can at least make money.
I guess. It's always a plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do promote making money. I try to.
As you should. That is one key thing to life, making money.
Yeah. So don't be a podcaster. That's
so now you're saying there's no money, no podcasting.
Dude, I had a guy come on here, Scott Kirkhart. He was telling this story about how he had a friend whose kid was like a really talented musician. He basically told them like, follow your dream, and then the kid like quit his job.
Oh, like real life? He was just like, oh, damn.
And the dad was like pissed. He's like, I'm like, yeah, I wonder why. And I was saying, like, don't do that with podcasting. He was like, no. Like, follow your dream. I'm like, do not follow your dream with a podcast.
He must have been really determined to be like, yo, I feel like I have enough to just make it. So fuck my job.
No, he's a great guy. No, he has started his career as like a full-time musician. It's actually been like doing really good stuff with it.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not completely illogical backing, but
right.
Like, you know, you also have to remember, like, for them, you know, for most people, they need like I still need like I need at least a part-time job.
Right. Oh, of course. Oh, yeah.
You gotta have bread, you know? Right. You can't just be like, hey, I need like $1,000 for this painting or whatever. I'm just going to rely on this for my, you know, you can't be Picasso or whatever.
It takes time to get to a point where you no longer need, you know, a 9-to-5 or a 6-to-3 job, and you can rely on, you know, your whatever career that you're in. It could be music or film directing. Like Robert Miley was talking to me about this after the show, that he hasn't worked a 9-to-5 in X amount of years, and
yeah, I think I remember him talking about that.
And he does his film, and I'm like, man, that's something I look up to, because I want to be able to dictate my own schedule, you know, not have to, you know, answer to, you know, a boss in a sense, like, oh, I got to be at work at this time, and that's not like, you know, to shine on, you know, to talk down on anybody who goes to a 9-to-5 job. You know, I still work a regular job until I'm at a point where I'm just like, all right, cool, this music thing is going, let me focus on that fully. But until then, we're gonna grind it out. We're most definitely gonna grind it out. Yeah.
Do you have any like anxieties or uncertainties about, like, you know, when that time comes, taking that extra step to like go into full time? Or are you pretty confident about it?
I haven't had any anxieties about going into that yet, because I feel like there's still more work to be done for me to know, like, hey, I can fully live off being a musician. Because once I started getting the mindset of, I'm thinking of when this thing will pop, or when is it going to happen, things like that, or if it's going to happen, that's when it starts to be one of those, like, it gets into a mindset of, oh, I might have to shut everything down. I might have to stop making music, blah, blah, blah. And I've never thought about ever stopping, because, you know, you try to manifest greatness. You try to manifest certain things. So I just look at what I'm doing, and I'm like, okay, at some point in time, it's going to hit. It'll take some time, but it's going to hit. And as long as I'm doing what I'm doing, you know, working, using that to put back into the music, whatever I make off of music, put that back in and just keep the same rhythm, everything, you know, should work out fine.
Yeah. It is really, you know, the people who do like make that step, like, kudos to them, but like,
right.
To me, that's just like, because, you know, my degree is about to end, and like I'm about to step into that too. So like I'm kind of there too. Like part of me has been just like thinking like what like part-time job am I still gonna
it's like it's a pull and tug.
It really is.
And also like it's a sacrifice. Because at some point in time you have to stop waiting for because the right moment might be you need to make that jump. You got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable, and that might even like for you might have to like move to make that that thing pop. For me, I might have to move to another state to make my music more noticeable, if that's the case. If Iowa doesn't work out,
Yeah. I think is really preventing me from doing that is that I don't really like ramen. I'm not.
That's what you got to resort to. Like I said, that struggle, that pull and tug, like you got to
exactly.
Got to eat that ramen and white bread for a good like 3 to 6 months before you know it. You're up to pasta. You've upgraded to pasta. Another 3 to 6 months, a salad.
I gotta eat good, bro. That's fuck.
No, I feel that.
My dad always talks like because he was in law school and all that, so he lived the ramen life. And, fuck, I can't do that, man.
I will admit, after a while, after that salty taste, it's just like, hey, I need something different. The saltines, and I want to live comfortable.
Yeah, I think I'm just over particular with like certain things, and food is one of them. And it's not. I mean, I think it's good in some regards, but like sometimes it can be a problem. Like I like. Spend an extra $1. I'm like, oh wait, I
don't want to. Let me put that back. I'm not gonna do that. Let me grab something else.
Maybe I shouldn't have gotten the steak this week.
Damn it.
Yeah, but I also don't have kids, so that kind of helps. I don't know, man. We're on that fence. We don't really know if we want them.
What?
You want kids?
Oh, I want at least 2 kids. Yeah, I definitely want me some kids. I want some mini-me's running around.
So what is it about that like you want so much? Like what's the drive for you to want to have kids?
I think it's having an offspring, if that makes sense. Like my own son or daughter.
Yeah, passing on the genes.
Yeah, passing on the genes. There you go. Because I had a 2-parent household. Like that I could say I had a mother and a father throughout my whole life until my mother passed, and the love I saw my parents give myself and my siblings, I'm like that's something I want to give to my kids, and something I model off of. Like everything my father and my mother have done in life, like I try and instill that within myself. So when I see what they did for me, I'm just like, I want that for myself. So I know within myself, I want me some 2 kids. But everybody else is like not really like that. And now these days I hear "fuck them kids." That's what I hear. I'm like, yo, what happened to you for you to say that? Like, were you beating at home? Like why you saying "fuck them kids"? But everybody's different,
Yeah. I mean, I struggle with like the idea of passing on my like hereditary.
Yeah, hereditary.
Fucking talk. Why am I even doing a podcast, bro?
It's a Wednesday. We're gonna blame it on a Wednesday and the weather shift. Yeah,
the weather. There we go.
It's a weather shift.
The best excuse. My mood changed because of the weather, so I can't do the podcast. Yeah, I'm telling
you, got me all in discombobulated. Like I'm nah.
God damn it! What the fuck was? Oh yeah. But like the depravity and alcoholism that's just like in my family tree, and like the mental health, like
right.
I'm autistic. I don't necessarily want to like carry that on genetically. Like there's just so many things that I steer away from that.
No, now that I've never thought about, and that I understand, and I've often heard that conversation of like individuals who date for a long amount of time, but it comes to that question of, okay, I see how you are, I know how I am. Do you know what we could bring into this world? And then it becomes a back and forth, and then you hear, oh, we could always adopt. We could always it's something that they would have a kid.
Yeah, and that's not even really a bad option. I don't think.
No, it's not. I feel like adoption is like you're giving in a sense, a kid, you don't know a better life. You're giving them a life that they never could imagine if you do it right. You love them.
Yeah.
You know.
But there is also a fair question of like, can you even handle adopting a kid? You know what I mean? Like maybe you're just the kind of like, and that's another thing too, is like both of my parents are like very career driven people. Like a lot of my childhood was like them working.
Right.
And like, I almost like understand it as an adult because like I almost feel that same way. But like I also still recognize like, is it good to like raise a kid when like it's possible that I might just get just so distracted and caught up in my own shit that he might just fly by. Like that could very well happen because I'm a selfish bitch, you know.
No, that's a valid point. Like it could be one of those things where like if it's two of you guys, one person's so focused on work and that does become a thing, and it might not even be intentional, but they're so like career driven.
Yeah.
And they're just pushing 9 to 5. After 5, I'm home. I'm relaxing. Sometimes at 9 to 5 is their main focus, so they might not show up for games.
Yeah.
They might not show up for elementary recitals and shit, and sometimes, that scars the kid for life. I don't know, but that's a valid point.
So my dad would show up to the sporting events, but he would miss the music events.
Hell no. How you gonna be like, I'm gonna support throw that football, catch that pass. When you're singing, I ain't got time. I'm staying at the crib.
Oh, dude. I love my dad, but
that hurts.
He's something else. Yeah.
That hurts.
I was talking to Brian from the GXP podcast yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And I told him like, dude, I could be on Joe Rogan tomorrow and tell my dad, and he'd be like, oh, cool. Like
all nonchalant and shit, like, oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's pretty neat. I'll have to check that out.
No excitement, no thrill.
Yeah, I also made $500,000, but okay. No,
now that would get him like, oh, really? Where's this at?
Right.
Son, I always thought you were special. Something about you. Come here. One of them.
Hey, give me that.
Yeah, give me that. And ruffling your pockets and shit. Like, where's that, buddy?
Hey, can I get a little bit?
Yeah.
No, they don't need my help. They don't need my help.
Oh.
No, my dad's a judge. He's doing fine.
Oh, that's money.
Yeah. No, I'm not helping that.
It's like, can y'all help me out? Like,
dude. No, I mean, I say this. I'll have the same attitude to that as he did to my childhood. Like, like all right.
All nonchalant.
Dude, my fucking grandpa has a dementia right now, and they just make fun of him. Like,
oh, that's the worst. That's not cool at all. Like,
he's like walking around getting lost. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Man's just getting lost. It's just like, help him. But he did like every 5 minutes just forgetting.
But that's the thing about my family, man. Like we're just like antagonistical assholes to each other. But like that's just how it's always been. So and like we find the humor in it. So like I don't know, it's fucked up. But like I don't know. I still there's still like a small part of me that enjoys like the McAllisters getting together and having some drinks and just like bullshitting and going at each other and just fucking like
As long as it's harmless and fun, hey.
Oh, it's not, but no, it's not that bad. But I mean, it's kind of like the jabs, you know what I mean?
Poking jabs.
Yeah, it's like when you make a joke, but like it's like, oh, you kind of like
you hit me with a dagger.
You mean it a little bit, like,
and then they keep going and going, just like, oh, you being serious, huh? Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
One time I was at my grandparents, and they asked me what I wanted to do, and at the time I wanted to like be like I just was like I want to be an artist. I told them I told them, and they all immediately burst into laughter.
What?
And I just was like, I was so like torn to pieces. I just like went and like hung out and like watched TV or something the rest of the night. I was just like, fuck.
Yeah. That's a very valid story.
But see him laughing about it, it's just like it's kind of that thing like you go through fucked up shit and you're like, all right, it's funny though.
How they gonna laugh? How they gonna laugh at your dreams? Like, damn.
I mean, look, man, there are some dreams that are a little like I knew this guy. He was a friend of my ex-wife's. He wanted to be a magician, and he had this whole plan to like travel like through the United States and like just live in his car and like go on the street and do magic, and he was gonna like make money. And it was kind of cute. Like he had like a marker board with like a little drawing of like a graph, and he's like, I think they made it like a little bit. They stayed with us, and like they were gonna stay for like 3 to 5 days, and they ended up staying for like 3 weeks.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed their time. Really enjoyed their time.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of magic in Des Moines for sure. Oh yeah. More like Magic on the Gathering on their computer or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, they brought their Mac. Their like big desktop Mac, and they just like planted it on a table in our apartment. And you're like, they'd stay up till like 2-3 in the morning when we had like a 7 a.m. job. Yeah, bro.
That's just blunt disrespect.
Blunt disrespect. Yeah.
You gonna bring a whole desktop Mac? That's just disrespectful.
Granted, they were like on a road trip, but like still, if the idea is that you're really out there grinding, like why the fuck you like?
Right.
That's just a recipe for disaster.
And how does it turn into 3 weeks?
They were really They really thought that this was the place, man. They thought the magic scene was in fucking Des Moines.
I'd have been like, get your own spot then. I don't be doing that in here.
Like, dude, like everyone's off the streets by 7:30. You're not.
Right. There's nothing there for you. Nothing but trouble.
Oh shit, dude. Yeah, magic. I will say that's probably one of the I give props to anyone. I'm sure there's someone out there who's like fucking amazing with magic, and like they're gonna make it, and that's glad. Like I'm proud of you, but you are like literally a needle in the haystack. You are one of millions of people who are gonna make it in magic, man, in 2022.
If you turn on, what is it? America's Got Talent. It's always somebody with some new magic shit. And every single time I'm amazed too, because it just keeps getting better and better. I'm like, oh, you're able to, I don't know, spit out something out your mouth that you threw into the crowd, like things like that. Like there's always somebody every single year coming out with something better that they're about to make national headlines and make it. So
always, yeah. Do you watch America's Got Talent?
I used to when I was younger. No, was it? No, it was Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, my parents used to throw it on, and I'd watch it, and then I started getting into it because I think Chris Brown performed on there, and then from there I just started watching it because it was different celebrities that I've seen in movies are on there now. So I was just like, oh, that's cool to watch or whatever. But that's about it.
Yeah, man.
Excuse me.
No, you're good. You're good. You got a little bit of a cold there?
Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from. I've been yakking.
It's everywhere, man.
I'm like, man.
I just got over one myself. I almost feel like it's coming back a little bit. It's
this up and down temperature
up and
stuff.
Down. You go in and out of the colds like for like a solid month or two.
And it always starts with the body aches. You feel it. It's just like, oh yeah, I feel something coming.
Damn, I don't get the body aches. It's usually just all congestion for me, just hacking and fucking, all that bullshit.
I'm sick of it. I wish it was July again. That 90-degree weather heat. That's what I miss.
I do, and Molly's a lot like this. Like, I really do like this stack though of like, putting on a sweater and just like having a blanket and like watching a couple movies or playing your game or whatever. There's something about that's kind of nice.
Yeah,
depends on the kind of person you are.
I do like hoodie season. It's it's easier to dress because now you don't now you don't need to really think about what you wear. I mean, if you have a stack of sweats, a stack of hoodies, like some black pants with some like red hoodie, boom, you're in there.
Yeah.
And you don't have to think about summer. Does this match with this? Do I need the hat on? This is now the time you can be comfy, wear what you want, not have to worry.
See, I don't even have that gear going in my brain ever of do I match?
Oh, never. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just never been a person who is particular about his appearance.
The last
I know I'm a sexy motherfucker now, but I don't try.
It must come effortless. Then you just throw on some shit and boom.
Really?
Like, yo, I'm ready to go.
No, I really am just like a sex god. Like I'm just a wonder.
Effortless.
I'm predicting. What's the? Is it time? Not time. What's like the top 100 sexiest men or whatever? What's that list? That I don't know if it still is, but that was like a big. It's like a big thing where they have like this is the sexiest man of the year or whatever.
Oh, I don't think it's Forbes, but it's like every year somebody gets
it's one of those stupid magazines.
Picked as like the sexiest man alive.
Yeah,
one of those.
One of those things.
Yeah, I forgot which magazine it is though. It might I think it's Time. Yeah, Time magazine.
Might be Time. Yeah. Well, I'm predicting in a decade. That's gonna be me. We're calling it right here. We're placing bets.
Once I'm comfortable being bald, I'm gonna throw myself in there too. You know, once I can take this thing off and be comfortable with it, yeah. Yeah.
Right, so I'm about to ask you. All right. Have you always been bald, or is that something that like when did that start for you?
It kind of started as like my hairline just like started going out, and
like at what age like did that start happening?
I want to say 22 or 23.
Damn.
Yeah, that's when I started noticing like, you know, my hair was just going bad. And I think it might have been from like when I was younger, I would try and line myself up or cut my own hair. But after a while, like I remember one family function I went to in Minneapolis, and it was hella family there. And like they just kept like, I remember one family member came around and they just looked at me and they're just like, you might as well just go bald. And they just start laughing. I'm like, so I just started, you know, embracing it and now cutting it. So now, you know, I just shave it all off whenever I want. But now when it grows out, it's just, you know, patchy. And I'm just like, I'm not trying to go like having to grow it out, go to the barber shop, they line it up. I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna go bald.
Yeah. I do, one of the good things about my genetics is we got the hair. At least my dad said we got the Irish. We got the like even my like fucking dementia old ass grandpa still has like fucking a white mane of hair on top of his head. You know.
You know, I might as well be like Akon or Tory Lanez and go get that hair transplant overseas, like. Cause then I wouldn't need this. I wouldn't need this shit or always having to wear a hat. Like, if they can have hair, I need some hair too. Like,
yeah, man. Have you heard of Wayne Newton?
Wayne Newton, who's that?
He's a singer.
Wayne Newton.
He's an old singer. Obviously, we don't have the system pulled up, but he's like this. He's probably in his like 70s now, and you can tell there's just so much. Like that motherfucker has to have hair. He has the same hair that he did in like the 60s. Like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He probably has hair treatment. Yeah.
Like I just keeping up on your appearance like that. Like I'm gonna go old, and I'm probably gonna go out young and not super young, but younger. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with going out at 60. I don't give a shit.
When I see the same celebrities with like the same dark hair, I'm like, you must be doing something to your hair that you don't have any white hairs. You must be dyeing it or hair transplant, something. Because like, there's no way you can maintain that same hair from 21 years old or 22 to like 62. No,
fuck that, man. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm gonna be a chill ass old man. I'm gonna be smoking a blunt on my porch when I'm like 50.
Same.
Yelling at kids.
Same.
They're gonna be shooting up heroin in the street while I'm smoking a blunt and be like, hey.
Yeah. I don't know about that one.
That's where society's going, man.
Oh, heroin. Heroin, meth, fentanyl. You name it all. That's where it's going.
What do you think about drug legalization? Do you think all drugs should be legal? Do you think there's some that should remain illegal?
Oh yeah, there's ones that obviously should remain illegal. Like fentanyl, meth, coke, and I'm only saying these things because I personally have never ingested those Xans, never ingested. Weed is the only thing I'll fully support and back. Everything else, like, I feel like there should be some type of regulation, and well, I know there already is, but it's just crazy to me how fentanyl can be found on the streets, like that, and when it's only supposed to be used in medical practices.
Yeah, well, I would argue that that's a product of it being illegal, right? Like the reason that there's a fentanyl in it. I guess let me ask you this: why do you think that those drugs should be illegal?
Oh, because like the numerous, aftermaths that you hear of people who have overdosed on them, or like even here in Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, somebody who touched a car door laced with fentanyl. What happened? They died, and they never were a user, but just like
that happened. Someone touched a car door.
Yeah. With it happened. Yeah, the girl died. Yeah, that's crazy. It was a high school girl who was dating, I think, somebody who was 21, but she was 18. But the dude hadn't been in high school for a good year or two. But yeah, touched the car door. She ended up in the hospital, died, and yeah, the thing was circulating around on social media like, hey, the family was offering $30,000 for any type of information. It could be anonymous, because their daughter died. She was fairly young, and this was in Des Moines. Yeah, it was some sad shit. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's not funny, but goddamn, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, dying from touching a door handle.
I'm telling you, like people leave a napkin in there, and you might think it's just something, but you go and touch it, and boom! Like when somebody you'll see those videos on YouTube of a cop that somehow came into contact with fentanyl, but it was like breathed in or something. Then has to be administered a Narcan or whatever.
Yeah.
Them type of things, and just seeing the aftermath from those type of drugs, I'm just like, yeah, they need to be regulated or illegal or whatever. Because just seeing how individuals act off of that thing as they take it recreationally, I'm like, that's not right. When I smoke weed, I don't be acting like that. When y'all do those drugs, you guys act completely different. So I feel like,
Yeah. Well, I tend to be pro legalization. I don't think like it's a universal I think that's kind of like a misconception about drugs, like certain drugs, is that like, you take heroin, you take meth, and like you have this like extreme reaction, or like that these bad things are going to happen. I don't really know how accurate that is. I really do question like how many of those problems are associated with it being illegal. Like overdoses, for instance. Like a lot of the reason why people overdose usually is because it's mixed with like either the product they're getting is mixed with something like fentanyl,
right.
or they are just not educated about the drug,
right,
and they are using other drugs. Drinking, like for instance, like if you're drinking with heroin, that's like a cocktail for. That's death. Like suicide, essentially. Yeah. And people that's kind of like a bad byproduct of like this war on drugs, is that people aren't educated.
Right.
So when they take these drugs, then they're maybe more susceptible to like, hurting themselves, whereas if they had known more about it, they may be smarter and be like, oh, hey, I'm not gonna drink with heroin.
Right. That makes sense.
I don't know. You find a lot of people still kind of on the fence about those, like, and I was for a long time too, but like, I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, I question whether putting somebody in a cage is the answer for them doing a substance.
Yeah. That too is tricky. Sitting somebody in a prison cell for, having it, consuming it, I don't know if that's like, accurate punishment. But then again, going to rehab, that doesn't always guarantee success. You can go into rehab and bullshit around, and boom, they release you, and you're right back doing the same thing. Now I'm pretty sure through rehab they probably give you medications and things like that. But if prison is not, the answer for people who ingest that type of stuff, then what should the repercussion be, for, people using illegal drugs like, meth, fentanyl, and those type of things. Leave weed out of it. Weed is completely something different.
Well, I would argue that there shouldn't be no repercussions. I think if someone does something, because a lot, people make the argument like, oh, if someone takes meth, they're gonna do something violent. Right. If they do something violent, charge them for the violence. I think the drug is an unnecessary charge in the whole scheme of things. It may. You could maybe make the argument that it made an impact on how their body was, during that kind of thing. But intent's intent. If somebody's gonna do something bad, they're gonna do it bad regardless of what drug they're on. Right. I mean, I that's why I believe, anyways.
I feel like well, I haven't been on those, but I've heard stories. I've seen other people, off of those things, and same with alcohol. I feel like drugs overall, they do have some type of influence on what you do. Yeah. Like when you drink a lot, you might think it's liquid courage, or you might be doing a lot of stuff that you normally don't do when you consume too much of alcohol. I don't know. It's a tricky subject.
Yeah. No, I mean it's true. It's yeah. I mean it's hard. It's hard to say what and that's kind of the situation with it too. Is these circumstances are complicated. Mm-hmm. It's not as cut and dry as oh, they did meth, so they went and did this. Life has so many different incidents and altercations, and there's so many factors that go into someone, right, committing a violent crime.
Right. They could have already committed the crime, and now they're trying to cope, so they go in. Sure. They go in, use, but then in court world, oh, they run your shit. Oh yeah, he was under the influence of this and that when we ran his blood, but the whole time he committed the crime before he was using whatever, if that was the case. So
yeah. So let me ask you this: so if someone is using, let's say they're using heroin for relief, and they're just they're not bothering anybody, they're just in their home using heroin, they don't do anything violent, they're upstanding. They go work, they're a citizen, etc. There are people that are like that. But I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think relieving your anxieties and your stressors through means other than what's legal is okay? As long as it doesn't hurt someone. I think that's the not to get political, but being libertarian, for that's kind of the differential in my mind, is whether you're being malicious or malignant towards someone.
My take on it is, yeah, they might be doing that stuff in their house, safe. Now, okay, they're doing it in their house. They're safe away from the world. But once you step outside that house, and you're out in public, or you happen, to be out, even not even me, but just around. Okay, say it is me, right? Yeah. Somebody steps out. They were safe in their home doing heroin and whatever. They step out. I'm around them. I'm gonna feel uncomfortable. I might not know they're off of heroin, but I know they're not gonna be acting normal, based off of the after effects off of that stuff. So for me personally, it's just, yeah, you might do it in your house. Yeah, that's cool for you, but is what happens after. You got to go out in public. You got to let the world see you how you are.
So would you say the same for alcohol and marijuana?
I feel for me personally with marijuana, I can function the same, being smoking inside, going out into the public, and adjusting and things like that. With alcohol, I feel like there's moderation with that, because that when you drink inside your house, when you've exceeded that limit of when you step outside, how you're going to look. When you step outside and get in your car, what's going to happen? Are you going to be able to drive, or are you going to get pulled over?
Yeah, well, I mean, that kind of goes back to the malicious thing. If you are putting yourself in it, if you're getting behind the wheel, mm-hmm. and you're unable to drive, then yeah, that's an issue. Right. I have a problem with that for sure. But like, let's say like he Ubered. Like, let's say somebody just like took a little huff of heroin and then they like went and Ubered to the gas station, got themselves a little juicy juice, paid their $1 whatever, and then they left. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's bad.
That's cool for them. That is great for them if that's what they want to do in broad daylight. Take a sniff of that shit and go and get like that. That's cool for them. They just personally for me, I'm like that.
Guys, this is what you get when you tune into the McAllister podcast.
I can't go like
Dude, I'm like Joe Rogan at this point. Like, I just, legalization comes up every 5 episodes and people are just screaming at me. They're like, dude, shut the fuck up. We don't care.
We understand about the legalization.
We get it. You want them all legalized. Shut the fuck up.
If it was, the world would go crazy and Iowa would go madness. Iowa would be madness.
Yeah. That's like, yeah. Like, I have a heart. I feel like Joe Rogan almost is like, do you listen to Joe Rogan at all?
Not really.
We talked about him a little bit, I think, last time you were here. Like, he's kind of waned in quality, I feel like, a little bit, because like he's kind of gotten into this like repetitive, like he has the same points every time. Like he has like his like 20, you know, different topics that he just like pulls, like, well, yeah, and this is the thing, like when you talk about this with this person, like the Berkeley with, or you know, whatever, like what, and it's always like relevant, right? Like there's almost something kind of like, and I kind of worry about that as a podcaster. Like there's something kind of contrived, almost in like doing episodes, and like you have to like, you know, keeping the energy flowing.
I feel like with certain podcasts, especially if it's starting to become repetitive, in a sense, or having the same topics, I feel like it's almost like regulated in a sense, like the topics are kind of like pre-chosen or something, or like he has a certain audience that he's trying to cater to, so his subject matter stays like almost damn near the same.
I see.
I don't know. Maybe that's the case, because like I've seen clips of his stuff, that certain clips that go viral reach my feed on Facebook or Instagram, and I'm like, oh, so this is what you said. I'm like, damn. So
yeah, no, I mean, it is very possible for sure. I do like to think that he is a person who's very like removed, like he is himself and he does not care. Like I do truly like, you know, I think there's a lot of controversy with him going to Spotify and like all the money he took, like whether that's affected the show. I think there's plenty of evidence for it.
When I saw that shit of Joe, like when he got that Spotify deal, I was just like, oh, okay, I see.
So many people's hearts got crushed. They were like, because he was just like, he was the avenue for free speech, you know?
Yeah.
And he still kind of is in a sense, but like it's dialed down though. You can tell it's dialed down.
I don't even want to say he sold out, but for that amount of money, like you definitely sign a contract. You definitely sign some type of thing where
he's got someone that's like down his throat.
Yeah, sure. like you got to talk about this and that, the third, like even the Joe, you know Joe Budden, right?
Yeah.
So they had that podcast, I think, through Spotify too, before, you know, Roy and Molly Mall like left, because there was a huge deal with it. I think it was like Everyday Struggle, something like that. I think it's separate or something, but it was a podcast. It was through Spotify. They couldn't reach a deal, you know, that was lucrative for everybody, that everybody, you know, was happy with.
Yeah.
And they ended up disbanding. And now it's, you know, no longer on Spotify, or they're no longer, you know, all together. It's just one of those things. Like, I feel like those corporations, like, if you take the deal, it's going to be a large amount of money, but here's the terms you have to go through. And it might be a lengthy ass, you know, 10-year contract that you got to complete.
Exactly.
And yeah, I don't know. It's tricky.
It's a fickle bitch for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know, well, and that's kind of like that's the thing I always like question. Like, you know, I like to think I'm the guy that, like, you know, facing the eye of the tiger of like, you know, selling out. Like, I would be like, no, I'm gonna. But like, fuck, dude. Like, if it, for a certain dollar, that's hard, man. Like if somebody today was like, "Hey Coleman, I'll give you $500 million for the McAllister's podcast,"
what would you do?
That's hard, bro. That's fucking hard. I could just start my own podcast again.
But think like a big corporation. They might be like, because they do shit like this. They'll be like, all right, cool. We're gonna buy your brand for $500 million, but you can't start a new brand or whatever.
Oh, yep. This is the clause
for like 2 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. By that 5th year, you're back at a rebranding stage to make yourself pop, and that's all worth $500 million. I'm like,
yeah, you could invest it though.
True, invest it and let it marinate. So then those 5 years are up. Hey, let me start something.
Yeah, and then it can just be for fun.
Right.
Yeah, but anyways, that probably won't happen.
Hey, you never know. Knock on wood. You never know.
Knock on wood. Yeah.
Right. Something could show up tomorrow. Hey, we saw your podcast last week. How you doing? I'm this and this. We'd like to cut you a check or checks.
I don't know. I'm really like anal about like it being mine, like my baby, my like that's kind of why I stray away from signing with anyone, or like I go through like I don't go through like Anchor FM. Like a lot of people go through like Anchor FM, which is fine, but the problem, because it's free, but the problem when you do that is like they own your show. Like I've always avoided, like they technically, like the likelihood of them actually doing anything is very small. I don't think I've really heard anything, but like just the idea of like them possibly being like, oh hey, we don't like the McAllister hours, like damn, your show's just over. Like yeah, I'm gonna pay that $10 a month for that to keep, like it's just to keep my shit. I'm very anti-censorship, and like I want to keep my crazy ass being able to do this, and it's important to me.
No, that's what makes your show unique, and that's what stands out, and that's what companies don't want. They want to come in and like they want to come in and take over and be like, oh, we like this, but we want to change this and that and the third, and before you know it, you got a whole different show than what you started with, and I feel like if a company likes what you're doing and they're willing to invest, they should see your vision through and not try throw some shit in there.
Well, I was gonna say that, like, I wouldn't say every company would necessarily act like that. There's gotta be companies who would be like, oh yeah, like you keep doing your thing as long as you bring us this profit,
right?
But like, yeah, Rogan had to have some kind of like going back to like the N-word, like how quick did he respond to that? You know what I mean? It was like right after he's like, hey man, like he literally like it looked like he like took a shower, like saw that there was a video, that he was like, oh fuck, and then he just like, all right, let me pull out that.
he had to quickly release a statement, because like you didn't hear not one time that Spotify decided, hey, we're gonna drop Joe Rogan. Like they put out a statement that they're not gonna drop Joe.
Yeah,
but here, like I hate to bring this up, but because like people feel like a certain way about it, and it's both sides. Kanye West. There's one side.
I keep forgetting about that.
There's one side that he said that anti-Semitic marks. He said stuff about George Floyd, which I do not condone that shit. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't condone his anti statements.
Yeah. White lives matter.
Yeah, that all
White
that.
No, I'm kidding.
Hey, yo, I'm about to head out, yo. It's been real. I'm out. I'm out, y'all.
I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. Shake my hand.
It's all
White
good.
Lives matter. I made the joke. I think it was actually the podcast that didn't even air because it got corrupted, so maybe that was why. But I was like, yeah, our movement's finally here.
Damn.
I'm kidding. No, he's a crazy motherfucker. And of course he got Candace Owens, That was his ace in the hole. That was like, he was with his branding team. He was like, if I want to sell this White Lives Matter thing, I have to have like
Candace Owens,
a fucking edge, and they're like, Candace fucking Owens.
It's crazy because there's that's being in the media, and the other retrospect is like Kanye West was trying to get out all of his deals, his Adidas deal, his Gap deal, and everything else. And what I'm saying, or what's being explained to me, is like first he started with the White Lives Matter thing.
Yeah.
That they didn't really do anything. Like those brands didn't do anything, right? When it got to George Floyd, nobody did anything. No companies did shit. They put out statements like the family, respectfully, as they should, put out a statement like, Kanye, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. The minute he makes rude ass remarks about the Jewish community, saying that DEFCON 3 shit, that bullshit, what happens? Adidas, I'm done. It's talent agency, I'm done. Gap, I'm done. Vogue, I'm done. I can go on a list of all the companies that say, hey, we're done fucking with you. We're done. And when it was now, I'm not saying that what he said about the Jews is okay, because it's completely not. But it was a trend he was doing, and when it got blunt disrespect, company was like, oh, okay, we've had enough. And he's been trying to get out of his contract, so it's just like, I don't know if that was the most strategic way to go about it. But then again, everybody's like, oh, he's Kanye, do you not know what he's gonna do next? Like, he has a platform, he's trying to build a city and all this other stuff, and it's just
Down to toot, baby.
It's both sides I don't understand. So I'm like, I don't know what Kanye is doing, but it's the same thing of getting finally where you want to be, and then you just like sabotaging it all.
Yeah. Well, okay. Do you think that he's having a mental breakdown, or do you think he's like intentionally?
I feel like he's having a mental breakdown. I mean, it was documented that I forgot his name. I think his name is Noah something. He has a late night show, a late night talk show, and
I know. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And he said that he's deeply concerned for Kanye because it's been documented. Kanye needs to stay on his medication, and he hasn't been taking his medication. So his brain's been going far left, and ever since
far right, really.
Far right. Let me be politically correct. Far right. And ever since his mother died, it's like he hasn't been in the best spot, and I don't think he has a good support system. Like, I don't think the Kardashians are a good support system. I don't think he has.
Well, they're not anymore. Like,
no. Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely not. I don't know. Well, I really care about what the Kardashians are going through, but it's more like kids are being affected off of this stuff.
That's the worst part.
And it's just like, Kanye, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but you need some therapy and you need some help, because when your kids get to your age, they're gonna look back at this like, damn, my daddy was crazy.
Yeah. Well, that is a reality sometimes, People be tripping.
I don't know how he gets that bold to just go ballistic and just say, okay, career suicide. Like,
so I take it you're not gonna vote for him in 2024.
Fuck no, I ain't voting for no goddamn Kanye. Man, I used to look up to that fool. I used to look up to his music, his artistry, his production, like, and now I'm just like, buddy, you ain't about to hear me singing like, what is it, Heartless, Gold Digger. You're not about to hear me singing those tunes. Just like R. Kelly's ass, I'm not singing his tunes. Not worth it.
This might be an insensitive question, but like, do you think that this is like split the black community in any way?
You said what?
Do you think that this whole thing with Kanye has split the black community in a way?
I don't think so.
I don't really know. I'm just curious.
What I see amongst like the black community, like through like news outlets in the comments, is just like they're taking it the way I was trying to explain it. Of like, do you guys not know Kanye's been trying to get out of his contract? So this is him going to the most extreme to get out of his contracts to build his own store that he wanted, to start his own city that he wanted, and like all the stuff that they're saying in the comments is like there's actual blueprints and factual information behind it. So they haven't necessarily. I want to say that they necessarily haven't split. I think they're more shocked, and then you got the other side that is just like cancel culture, cancel Kanye. Like, dude's been censored on every platform. I think he was just on some podcast a couple days ago saying that.
The Lex Friedman, maybe.
Yeah,
I have yet to watch it. It's on my.
I think that guy, yeah, Kanye was going off on him, telling him like, "Don't tell me what to fucking do." Da da da.
Oh, did it get heated?
Oh, it got very heated.
Ooh, I have to watch it. I have to watch it after this.
I was like, "Yo, Kanye is off his rocker." It looked like one of those. It looked like one of those things like Kanye hadn't showered in days. He was wearing a hoodie and like a scruggly ass. Like he looked real scruffy. But then prior to that, he was just at his daughter's basketball game, spending time with his kids. So just like, it doesn't make sense what he's doing. But then again, like, it's Kanye. Kanye does whatever the fuck Kanye wants to do.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to say it, he lost me after Trump. Once he started putting it, he lost me after Trump. I'm sorry.
Isn't it funny that like he still ran for president? Like,
yeah. In some states, he ended up on the ballot, and I'm just like,
he did in Iowa.
I didn't vote for his ass. I mean, there's nothing he's gonna do for me.
Oh, let me ask you this kind of a controversial question. Do you think, because like I feel like Kanye is almost like superseded race in a way. Like he really is he's really kind of like shown a light on like classism and like how like that's almost being exploited more so in a way. What are your thoughts on that?
I think so too. I feel like he doesn't even understand himself or his race anymore. Because when you get on your platform and you say those things, knowing what like black people as a whole have been through, is just like,
yeah, it's very removed.
You look at it like, what the fuck? And even like Lil Wayne, I'm pretty sure you've seen that clip. Lil Wayne echoed the same thing in a sense. Some lady asked him, "Do you understand what Black Lives Matter?" And he was like, "A white cop saved my life when I had a bullet hole in my chest. So excuse me with that shit. I don't know what the fuck Black Lives Matter means."
Yeah. Well, I think that was a little different. I think that was him more protesting against the movement versus like racism as a whole. I think Kanye's been more harmful in a sense. Like, because Black Lives Matter at the end of the day is just a political movement. Right. I think not Kanye. I think Lil Wayne just, I think he's a little more conservative. I think he just wasn't with that movement. I think that was kind of more what that was about.
Yeah, that too. And, that and you said he didn't understand racism because of the avenues or the life that he has now. And it's just like, it's kind of construed, but Kanye, I feel like is doing more, is actually doing actual damage to the community. And it's quite apparent. Like, if you don't sympathize with what's going on, you fail to sympathize with George Floyd, that whole situation, making arrogant comments out. He's very removed. Yeah. From the culture and the black community. And I don't know if it's because his status that he's gotten so far up in life that he just looks down on the stuff. Like, I do understand that, yes, now there is some discrepancies about the Black Lives movement, the Black Lives Matter political party. Like, there's a whole, like, those people scammed. Like, I know you heard about that, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, they got a bunch of money from Biden, and they bought a bunch of mansions, I know.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you guys took an actual cause that was intended for a good cause that was needed and turn it into a profiting, thing.
You know what's funny too? The guy who like was like behind all the scamming was a white guy.
See, and
there's something just fucking hilarious.
And this is why we can't grow up, and this is why we can't grow in life, and this is why this is why people like. Do you ever I don't even donate to the Red Cross. Like whenever it's like this time of the year, the holidays. Like I don't drop money in that bucket because I don't know where the money goes. Like I've seen all these commercials of Red Cross, all these relief funds of send money to Africa or sponsor this kid for 20 cents a day. I've been seeing these for years, but I don't see any actual change happening with these organizations. Like the top CEO probably gets a $2 million to $4 million cut of what comes in.
Yep, exactly.
And whoever else gets scraps.
It's in the fine print, man. It's in the fine print. You know, it's really funny. When I was a kid, I wanted to do like this charity like fundraiser thing,
right?
And I was like organizing it, and I actually I had a piece of paper for people to sign, and I really tried to write really tiny in it, like 25% of this money will go to.
You already knew what the hell you were doing,
dude. I was taxing that fucking 8, man. I was fucking
25%.
My mom was like, "You can't fucking do that."
You knew what you were doing.
Yeah, and but in my mind, I was like, but that's what they do. Like, that's what
So I should be fine. I'm starting off young. Right. I need to get ahead.
That's my career path. Going to fucking being a fundraiser CEO or whatever the fuck.
Hey, it seems like an easy ass job because everybody else is profiting and living large. All I gotta do is sit my ass there and count the money. And act like I care for these companies, these relief fund, companies. Cool.
Do you think they practice crying in the mirror? Do you think they have like a whole half hour where they're just like, okay, all right, cancer,
diabetes? I feel like that, or they gotta practice sulking before they get in the camera to do those commercial ads.
Yeah, right.
All right, now droop your face, lower your eyes. Frown your face, and action. We are here today to talk about the effects of blah, blah, and boom. They got a whole campaign ad running. So, yeah, I feel like they got the shit down to a T. They got a whole marketing thing. They know when to cue in the little girl crying and all that shit. Like, they know what the hell they're doing. All these companies do.
Oh, yeah, man. It's like reality TV. Like, they just
scripted.
They throw it together. Yeah.
Like all them Love and Hip Hop shows, scripted. They're funny as hell to watch. Like I ain't gonna lie. Like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, it's funny as hell to watch. But like, it's just all that scripted shit. Like everybody knows what they're doing. Like it's a whole marketing thing.
Yeah. Have you heard that show Love Island? I don't watch reality TV at all, so I haven't watched any of these. But apparently there's this show where you have 10 couples and they separate and go to different islands, and they have these sexy people of the opposite gender flaunting with them and stuff, and almost all of them fail, and they break up and
sounds
shit.
Like some cheating shit to me,
for real. And almost all of them cheat. Very few, and it's a competition. Whoever's the last people
So basically, they can't give into their temptations.
Exactly. Or that's what it's called. It's called Temptation Island. There you go. There you go. Temptation Island. Yeah, I don't watch this bullshit, but
they must be married for years to risk it all.
Yeah, right. That must be the point in your marriage where you're like, I'm bored. Let's just spice it up and see what happens. We were gonna have an orgy in our living room, but let's just go on Temptation Island. That's a good middle ground,
I've never understood the term "spice it up." Let's spice up our marriage. Let's spice up our relationship. Like I be hearing shit from people who intentionally get in fights with their significant other because I want to spice up the relationship, so I'm gonna fight with my man. What type of toxic shit is that?
Oh, fuck that.
You actually want to argue with your man, or a man want to argue with his girl all to spice up a relationship? And I'm like, nah, that's some toxicity right there.
Fuck that.
Nah, I run the other way.
For real. Yeah, it's really sad that people take relationships and they think of a game.
Yeah, it's
they're I have to earn the most or get be the best or whatever.
And that's the majority of why relationships fail. It's like I always say, well, like an impressing contest. It's just like
comparing yourself almost.
Yeah.
Compare yourself to other people. That's an endless game. You'll like fucking die trying to win that one.
Comparing yourself to others in a relationship is just like you're not even happy with yourself to be in a relationship.
No, not at all. You're just thinking about all that bullshit.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's like insecurities, like a mug.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, in terms of spicing it up, I would say I draw the line to other people.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, that's a no for me. Yeah, I'm not throwing it. Like if I'm dating a woman, if I'm married to a woman, and she's talking about spicing it up, the best we can do, I'll go get some some chocolate syrup, some honey. We can go park the car at a church and do the nasty in the back seat and pray about it later on. But we can think about ways to spice up between us two. But I'm not throwing another girl into there. If she's talking about, I want to throw another. We're not doing none of that. It's gonna be me and you.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it.
I agree. I think that just opens up a door. I feel like when you've done that, the relationship's already over.
Oh, it's completely over. If I have to see if both sides, if my woman has to see me pleasuring another woman, longevity, that's not going to do well with her mental. If I have to see another man pleasuring my woman, I'm out the door. Yo, he already making you feel how I like. Yo, I'm gone.
I love the contrast.
Leave me alone. Yeah, like see. Everybody deals with it differently. I know within myself, if I saw that shit, I'm done. There's no let's talk about. There's none of that. Like, I'm done.
No,
leave me alone.
Yeah, that's how I am too. Yeah, man. I mean, I can relate to that. You know, you be in relationships where like you just see the other person, mingle a little too much with other people, and you're like, yeah. And it's always funny when it ends and then they end up going that way. It's like, I called it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you see what they're doing, and you're like, you're not supposed to be doing that. Like what are you doing? And they make it look like you're crazy.
And then, some good old gaslighting. Yep.
Yeah, and then it's just like you think for a second you're not crazy, but then you see as the situation plays out, they do what they want, and then it never works out for them. And then they come knocking at each other like, "Hey, how's it going?" No, like you left, so stay. Like, don't come around.
Fuck, dude. Well, this is kind of a tragic note to end it on, but
hey,
we've been going for about an hour 20. I think it's a good place.
Oh man, that's how I know it's been a good podcast, because it literally feels like I've been here for like maybe 30 minutes, maybe if that. But you're saying an hour 20. That's how I know it's a good conversation. But I don't mind editing on that. I mean, relationships are relationships, and it never should be forced. It should be like something genuine that just happens organically.
Yeah. TDLR, there are some crazy bitches out there.
I know that's right. Nobody gave me the red flags at a point in time in my life about that crazy shit, man. I got no red flags, and I got hurt.
See, I had the opposite experience. There were red flags left and right, and I was just pushing through.
You a different kind of breed.
Dude. I was raised like Irish Catholic, like hardcore family values. Like, I wanted that,
You're gonna push through it no matter what.
Yeah,
I understand that. Trust me, I understand that.
But eventually, your sanity goes, and you're like, yeah,
that's
gotta watch out. Gotta watch out for you.
That's the hardest part: your sanity, and then regrouping and figuring out yourself again.
Exactly. But you know what? It's almost always, I would say, if you feel the need to leave, and if it and everybody kind of gets that impulse, but if you are truly in a relationship and you truly a majority of my time I am not happy, get out of that, and I guarantee you'll feel better.
Oh, facts. Like, I'll lastly end with relationships. Like, it's one of those things, like, you have to be respected. Your respect is first on both ends.
Yes.
You guys always had to be on the same page. Y'all had to remain level-headed, and there should always be positivity. And if you're not being respected in a relationship, you're being called out your name, you're being gaslighted in public, you're being disrespected in public, it only gets bad from there, and you got to stop. Yeah.
Slap that bitch. No.
Hey, I don't condone that. Let me say that before I don't want to ruin my brand I'm trying to build and lose whatever endorsements that I probably will never have. I don't condone no violence towards women. I love women. I don't hit women. I love upon women, but we don't hit them. I don't know what he was talking about. I was playing.
You already fucked all those up by coming on the show, my friend. You're screwed.
Oh, there they go. They just went out the door.
I'm kidding. Michael, it's been a pleasure, man. Where can people find you? Where your socials?
Follow me on all my social medias, all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Michael M Jeni. As November rolls around, I'm gonna do my best to close out fourth quarter strong with some new music, and then as soon as 2023 year hits, it's EP time. Most definitely.
Hell yeah, man! I'm excited for it. I always love what you do. You have a beautiful voice.
Appreciate it, man.
You do great. I love your music. You do great stuff, man.
Oh, that's love, man.
And I love having you on the podcast. You're a great guest. Come on anytime.
Yeah, we're gonna go for number 4 and 5, man.
Hell yeah, all the time. Guys, stay tuned every Monday and Thursday at 7. Also, go check out the Patreon if you like what we do here and you want a little extra content. You willing to pay that little extra buck for slave labor? Come check us out on the Patreon. Hell yeah.
Most def.
All right, peace, everybody. Have a good night.
Peace. Good night.